Hello everybody, PsyStarcraft here with another STARBOW commentary, but before I get underway, I want to announce that I am streaming today, finally after a long hiatus, after moving all my stuff in, working out furniture arrangements and time slottage and I don't know, all kinds of movage and just getting acclimated. I am now ready to stream once again, going to be doing the whole Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing, probably at least. I might even do a little bit more than that, maybe some stuff on the weekends, but I'm going to continue. Holy cow, that's loud at my speakers. I'm going to continue my daily cast, just as you can see here, and usually what I do is when I am about to stream, I usually start around 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock Pacific time. That's like Western time in the United States, or however you want to look at it. So 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. is usually when I start, and I will update my Facebook, I will update my Twitter, as well as release a short video on YouTube. Now, as long as you see any video on YouTube that mentions streaming, that means I am still streaming. So I will keep that video up for as long as I am streaming. Once I finish streaming, I will take that video down. Just makes it easy for those of you who don't want to like follow a bunch of people on different social networking sites and stuff like that. So if you do choose to follow me on Facebook or Twitter, that's usually all I really do. Occasionally I'll just post something super inspirational. Other times I'll say I'm streaming. I know my Twitter is automatically set to notify you when I release new videos, so that's another way you can just tell when I release a YouTube video. So yeah. Anyway, this is a Zerg versus Protoss. My opponent once again is Shard. Now, I know I've been playing Shard a lot, but like I said, I do play at very specific times STARBOW, and you know, not a lot of players are on, so this guy is a good player, so I hope you guys enjoy this match. It's another ZvP. I did give you a ZvZ and a ZvT yesterday, so don't be too greedy. He is going to be going for a Forge and then a Nexus, so we're both going kind of greedy. Me going with the Hatch first. Let's get some Brood War music up in here. Me going with the Hatch first, him going with the Forge, and then Nexus, Forge, Fast, Expand. And look at this, I'm actually scouting. I'm scouting and taking this Nexus. This is going to tell me I don't have to get my gas right away. I'm not really going to need Hydras out too soon because he's not going to put on any Zealot pressure because he's getting a Nexus. So basically just lots of things that single Nexus tells me. This Overlord doesn't quite fly in fast enough to really see that he's getting the Nexus. So I think the drone scout's a really good idea, especially since in this game, compared to StarCraft 2, just 1 or 2 Zealots can really wreck you just because you don't really have your queens out. If you enrage, they can just run away and then come back. Enrage doesn't last that long, and you'll lose inject, you'll lose creep tumors just by doing enrage. So lots of things that Zealots can cause to happen in the early game. So you're going to want to send out that early scout. I think like in Brood War, for those of you who are familiar with watching Brood War, I think drone scouts were a regular thing. I don't think, like in StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, I don't really ever drone scout. A lot of players don't. It's probably still a smart idea just to see, you know, proxies and stuff like that, but whatevs. Gas now coming up a little bit late. Shard checking for that third, not quite seeing it, but you know, like I said, the gas is late because I don't really need Hydras right away. This drone continuing to scout, going to give me some good information for a while. It's going to prevent him from like hiding any tech because I might just float around and see it. So once the core is done, that's when the drone becomes important. We're going to see what path he chooses after the core. So if I can keep this alive, that'd be great. This is one of my first games back from, you know, just the move-in break and stuff like that. So might not be able to multitask as well as I'd like to. Looks like I am still controlling him, although these lings aren't doing anything at all. Hydra Den not being produced yet. No third as well. I really want to watch. I feel like just watching one Brood War replay. Oh no, and I neglect the poor probe. The drone. I feel like watching a Brood War replay and seeing how they do the 5-hatch Hydra would be incredibly important, just because I don't really have the timings quite there, especially with the gas amounts. You can see my gas is just going crazy, mainly because I haven't started the den and gotten the speed or anything like that, but I'm not quite sure where I want to go as far as that kind of stuff goes. So we are seeing the Twilight Council, so this is what I would have wanted to keep my drone alive for, is to see this Twilight Council. Realize he's going into Templar, maybe not invest too heavily into Hydras because High Templar obviously destroy Hydras, or go a faster layer, maybe go some Mutas to pick off those early Templar because they won't have a lot of support because he's doing it so fast on 2 base, or go for Roaches faster so I can do the whole burrow shenanigans and try to pick off Templar in the back. So we are seeing a third base. I'm not sure if I like this location. It's closer to the opponents. This is kind of a nice choke for him to work out of. The only thing this base does have going for it is a high ground ledge that I can kind of defend on, but he can kind of circumvent that, just come around the side. Whereas this base, you know, you've just got a very simple choke. You can just kind of camp your units up here. I think this is a more easily defended base, so I'm not sure about taking this third base first as opposed to the other one I just showed you. Muscular augments and metabolic boosts both on the way. Still no macro hatches. It just seems like, I don't know, maybe I'm not injecting well. I feel like I'm injecting pretty well. It just seems like I just don't have the money. There's the big transfer. So that's why we're seeing the harvester count so low, is because that transfer is going out. So I do have a lot of drones, although still no macro hatches. And I'm wondering if at some point I should be just canceling, you know, just stopping all of these upgrades, not stopping them, but just don't start them in the first place. Stopping any drone and overlord production and just waiting for that money to get those hatcheries, because I don't know if I have enough larvae at this point to even make enough units. It's kind of hard to tell. But we are seeing a Templar archives from Shard. We're seeing 4 more gateways being thrown down, so probably going to see a storm push. And if I only have hydras for this storm push, that could be problematic. I don't have any scouting information yet, just these lings on the outskirts of his base. Usually a good idea to turn this into an overseer once your lair is finished, but you can see I'm still waiting on that lair. So definitely need to start that group spines. Oh man, that reminds me. Remember that stalker game where I forgot to get the group spines upgraded? That was the worst thing in the world. Just could not understand why Blink Stalker was beating me so bad, and I forgot the range upgrade, and that was pretty much the reason. Although they are thinking about nerfing group spines or Blink, they've done it on the public test realm, and they're buffing hydras, so that'd be kind of cool. That might be something that would motivate me to get back into playing Heart of the Swarm, although Colossi have not been touched, which I don't know, they just kill all the fun. Swarm hosts haven't been touched, Colossi haven't been touched, Tempests are getting a buff possibly. I don't know, it's just a mess. I say it might get me back into the game, but we'll see. Lair takes a long time in this game. I think a lair in Brood War takes, or in StarCraft 2 takes 80 seconds. A lair here takes 108 seconds, so it might have been a good idea to infuse that with my queen, transfuse that. And as you can see, there's still no additional hatcheries. I'm just spending so much money on units, as you can see here. Really don't know the timings just yet. There's one additional hatchery. Are we going to see a second one pretty soon? Wouldn't surprise me. My money's getting pretty high up there. And yeah, there goes the 5th hatchery. So very slow 5-hatch kind of Hydra push. But the problem is, I don't think it was timed well at all. I think it was way too late. You can see he has 2 Templar out already. His Storm, I'm sure, is finishing research. Yeah. And these Hydras really aren't going to do much against this amount of Zealots and the Storm. So I see the Storm. I got to be careful. I don't want to commit too much. Hydras with speed aren't as fast as Zealots with speed, so I don't want to move in too much, because then the Zealots will just catch up and just like eat up my forces. 3rd base is on the way. My harvester count is slightly higher than Shard's, and he might be a little oversaturated on 2 base with 38 harvesters. This isn't StarCraft 2 melee, you know, like 15 harvesters on 21 patches is actually oversaturation. So just kind of pushing in, prodding, trying to discourage him from doing anything crazy, acting like I want to be the aggressor, when really I'm frantically trying to get some anti-Templar out. And we can see my groove spines just finished. I haven't started my lair yet. Oh, I thought a lurker den cost 200 gas. It only costs 150. That's cool. And I'm choosing to go the roach route instead of the hydra route. It looks like he's still trying to just posture back and forth. He's not sure if he wants to move in or not. No 4th base. These hatcheries are finished with the help of transfuse. We're seeing 17 harvesters, 12 harvesters, and 12. No gas on the 3rd, but I feel like I kind of need to make units at this point, so not sparing too much time to start that gas, although 5 drones are on the way. And if we check out the units tab, 22 Hydras and 9 Roaches against a lot of Zealots. And these Zealot Templar force is actually so scary against Hydras. But obviously he's going the Heavy Templar because he's using so much of his gas, or the Heavy Zealot because he's using so much of the gas on Templar. Gonna try to take the hill, but no, he's gonna catch me off guard. Throw down 1 Storm. Look at that, just clipped by a Storm. I take 28 damage. It's insane how much damage that spell does. These roaches trying to loop around the outside. Do I have the tunneling claws upgrade? Not yet. Hopefully he doesn't move out until the upgrade gets done. He's just now getting a robotics facility. He sees the creep and he realizes, wow, my opponent's going to have a lot of vision. He's going to be able to choose how and when to engage. Maybe I should get some observers. So that robotics bay is coming up. And remember, even with the robotics bay, you still need an observatory. And it looks like he wants to move in. Hydras, roaches, need to avoid the storm. Lots of zealots. Here come the Templar. Oh my goodness. Oh, 1 storm going down, nailing those roaches. Roaches burrowing in the back. Tons of storms going in on the roaches. Lings, hydras, all over the place. These roaches are decoying so many storms, taking down a couple dragoons, and the zealots and the dragoons are forced off. So I was able to force the Templar to waste their storms on the roaches, otherwise they would just die for no reason. And the combined force of these Lings rallying and the Hydras were able to just basically take the Zealots out because there just weren't any storms supporting him. He's going to be running to the northwest position, trying to find some way to take high ground advantage or something. I'm going to be burrowing in the back, taking down the Dragoons. Dragoons do full damage to Roaches, while Zealots, while they do full damage, Roaches have 2 armor, so they actually reduce the damage dealt by Zealots by 4. So that's pretty cool. Trying to flee to the north, but realizing that's not really a place I can go, and getting caught out in the middle. I just do so little damage to Zealots, but I think it's good because, you know, Zealots need to have something going for them, being a melee unit and all. I like how in this game melee units are actually good. Like, you see these Zealots just harass the shit out of these Hydras because almost all ranged units do half damage to light units, and most melee units are light. It just makes a lot more sense than StarCraft 2, where Zealots just get completely rocked by Roaches, get completely rocked by Hydras. Lings don't do jack shit in the late game. I don't know. I just like it a lot better. I know I'm sucking STARBOW's dick a lot lately, but so my 4th base is now going up. Now, after a push like that where he fails, that's when you really want to think about going Hive Tech. We can see Lurker Den, we can see Ventral Stacks. I'm going to be going for drops, but I feel like Hive Tech is really something that's necessary, especially against Templar, maybe, or just Aspire. I mean, Hive Tech against Protoss isn't super necessary because Dark Swarm isn't nearly as effective against them as it is against Terran. Because, of course, Zealots and Archon's pretty powerful. I think Archons can still hit in a Dark Swarm. But Mutatech, definitely great. You know, just fly around, pick off these Templar. Lurkers, great. Drops, great. And it looks like I am going to be going the drops route. Another hatchery going down. So we've got a 4th base as well as a 7th hatchery total as another macro hatch. These Lings just kind of trying to find a way into this 3rd base. But you can see he's got a really nice barricade of cannons here. That pylon's kind of vulnerable. These cannons only have 200 health though, so actually I think it'd be more beneficial to take down all 4 of these pylons with Hydras before actually going for the cannons before going for the pylon. So we are seeing some Lurkers morphed. This is going to help me contain him. Storm obviously not as good against Lurkers. It can't kill Lurkers in one shot. Spreading it somewhat well enough so that the Storms won't do maximum DPS to them. And for now, I basically just want to find a way to, you know, harass him, contain him. But I'm not teching up. That's something I just haven't seen much incentive to teching up. See, I'm actually killing 2 cannons and then I'm killing the pylon, which does not make any sense at all, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, I was going to say, I just haven't seen a lot of incentive to go Hive Tech against Protoss as Zerg. It seems like T2 is kind of plenty. But, you know, Defilers just don't seem that good against Toss. Guardians, just, it takes so long to get Guardians. I'm not really sure what the timings are on the Spire and if Guardians are even that good yet. And Ultralisks just get torn to shreds by Archons, and you just don't have enough armor upgrades in this game. It seems like to make Ultralisk good against Toss. And once again, going down with the Burrow, trying to get in the back ranks, taking down lots of High Templar without them spending their energy. However, these Lurkers did not have time to get finished. Some nice Storms, and he has an Observer overhead just picking off everything. So while I did kill all the High Templar, he's going to win that battle, mainly because a lot of my forces are in the back dropping on him. These guys need to be Lurkers. Really good defensive unit is the Lurker, and going to be burrowing some Lurkers and some Lings in the back of his minerals. Meanwhile, we do have even more forces going into his main. He's got a couple Dragoons trying to shoot up, but it's not really happening. This Lurker has no Observer overhead, so he can just fire away. There's the Observer finally. 2 Lurkers in the back of the main, as well as several Lings beating away at the hatchery. Meanwhile, we've got, looks like these forces just now being cleaned up. We've got some Hydras moving into his 3rd base, so he's got to have his forces everywhere at once. He's moving a huge brunt of his force into the main just to take down a couple Zerglings. Observer overhead, finally able to spot the Lurkers. Hydras in the 3rd. Will they be able to take down the Nexus? Maybe with some rallying? No, looks like not really paying close attention to the Hydras now. Finally trying to dodge the Storm. That's not quite happening. Trying to flee with these Overlords. Meanwhile, rallying 28 Lings and making 7 more Lurkers. He is able to clean up that attack. Oh, these Lings might kill these Templar. 1 Templar going down. The Zealot's going to be going down as well. Protoss love to focus on the... Oh, I could have kept my Lings there, but I actually ran away with him. Protoss love to focus on the attack upgrades and not get a lot of other upgrades. So you will find those attack upgrades that you get yourself to be very, very helpful. So he's now replacing the Nexus in the main. He's crippled on the Harvester count. He's down to 28 Harvesters to my 68 Harvesters, keeping on the rallying of the Lings into the 3rd. Meanwhile, he's trying to stop another drop in his natural. No, he's going to be sending the clump of his force into the 3rd once again. Meanwhile, another Lurker drop in the natural. 1 Burrow, 2 Burrow. You got a Burrow guy. 2, 3. 3 lurkers being burrowed. Meanwhile, more lings in the third, but they're going to get slaughtered by these Archons. He might just choose to move out at this point. There's so many lurkers just wrecking havoc on his mineral line. Templar being rallied. We've got 7 Hydras on the way, but I'm not able to spend my money fast enough. I don't have enough hatcheries. I'm throwing down 2 more, but I don't know if that's going to be enough if he does choose to try to counterattack. These lurkers doing so much damage. 3 kills, 8 kills, 1 kill. Lurkers being dropped into the main as well, preventing the harvesting of his third base, and at this point he realizes, okay, this isn't happening. There's too many lurkers. I only have 1 observer, 2 observers. Can't split my forces enough. Let me just go for it. And I realize this, trying to get tons of lurkers, which are such a good defensive unit. Unfortunately, I didn't get any overseers. Look at this. He's got 2 observers. If I would have had any overseers, I could have picked off those observers. He's got no money to produce another one, and that would be game. He'd have no detection for my lurkers. So that's a really good answer to Storm, I feel like, is lurker detection and then just sniping these observers. It's a very common play. Denying the mining here still, denying the mining here still, killing that Nexus. And here he comes into the third base of my own. I have the high ground, and look, notice his vision is a bit limited. He can see that there are clumps of Hydras there, but he can't really tell where the best location to Storm is. He's only got 4 Templar, so he's really afraid of pushing up into the high ground, which is good for me because I'll have time to make my lurkers. If you check on the minimap, you can see all of his bases are still being attacked by those lurkers. He's going to be able to take down the third base. Is he going to move to the 4th or the natural? We'll see, but I do have this nice high ground position. Looks like he is going to be retreating, maybe to the 4th base. These Hydras need to rally. No, Hydras go back. They are going to be salvaged. Oh, he's got 4 Stormers. 1 Storm going down. Pretty nice Storm. Doing tons of damage to these Hydras, about half their life. These lurkers still just kind of chilling at the top, preventing any mining. He did have the funds for another observer. It looks like he might have canceled something, maybe a shield upgrade. I don't know. And these guys are just destroying whatever they can. Might not be a bad idea to unburrow them and send them elsewhere. So what do we have? We got 6 lurkers. We've got 6 lurkers against 7 Archons, 15 Dragoons, and 18 Zealots. That's so much Protoss stuff. But does he have observers? Yes, he has 1 observer overhead. If I can pick that off, but there's no overseer. Oh, he might storm his own observer. He just stormed his own observer. He has no detection on the map. He's got 1 observer back at home, but I don't have any lurkers to take advantage of this. Oh, I do have 1 lurker. This guy's a hero lurker. Hydra's being taken down by these Archons. He's choosing to turn those 2 Stormers, those 4 Stormers, into Archons themselves. This guy's just going to be going to town on everything. Oh my gosh. He stormed his own observers. Yes! I actually didn't even notice this in-game. Rallying more and more lings. He's trying to get some mining happening. That lurker finally being taken down. This lurker is still just shooting underneath. He's probably done thousands of damage with all that splash. Look at these shields. This is all this 1 lurker. 4 kills. Lings being rallied. 5 kills on the lurker. 6 kills on the lurker. Just shooting away. Realizing he doesn't have detection, I'm just going to burrow in as close as I can. 2 Queens with their Enraged do tremendous damage to the ground. They do 22 attacks per round when they are enraged. Unburrowing and burrowing once again, transfusing these lurkers, trying to get some shots on the lurkers when he can, but it's not happening. More and more Hydras rallying, and it looks like this might be it for my opponent. He's trying to harvest, but he's just got so many unpowered gateways, continuing to rally these lurkers or Hydras. He's doing a good job of dodging these lurkers, but it's just not quite enough, and it looks like his forces will finally be stopped. Holy cow, and I even picked up this lurker to drop it a little bit closer. That was a pretty insane game, and that just shows you how powerful it would have been if I chose to kill his observers as opposed to him accidentally storming his own observers. Lurker is just such a good defensive unit. It really forces your opponents to play on their toes and have observers where they need them at the perfect time. So obviously spending money and macroing is still an issue. I'm considering the backspace method for injecting just because you have to do it so often in STARBOW. But hope you guys enjoyed that game. Tons of action. It really shows you the power of the lurker drop up on the high ground here in the back, multi-pronged attacks with the Hydras here. Probably could have been a little better, but it was a pretty fun game. Shows you one way to deal with Storm. You know, the roaches burrowing behind it and just getting lurkers, sniping the observers and stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Once again, I am going to be streaming, so make sure to check that out. And that's going to be it. Thanks for watching.